Slava Jesus Christus, Slava Navika, glory be to Jesus Christ, glory be forever. This is Father Basil again, and hope everyone's doing well wherever you're listening from today. And I'm going to continue talking about the book of Genesis. Last week I did a few of the chapters. I think I finished up to chapter 3. So remember, there is the creation story. God created the world for everyone, for us to enjoy this world. And then he created Adam and Eve. And then, of course, we know that Adam and Eve disobeyed God, and they no longer were able to live in paradise. So now we're in chapter 4 in Genesis. Now the man knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have produced a man with the help of the Lord. Next she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain a tiller of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel for his part brought of the firstlings of his flock, their fat portions, and the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering. But for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. The Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry? And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is lurking at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must master it. Cain said to his brother Abel, Let us go out to the field. And when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is your brother Abel? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And the Lord said, What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it will no longer yield to you its strength. You will be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Today you have driven me away from the soil, and I shall be hidden from your face. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on earth, and anyone who meets me may kill me. Then the Lord said to him, Not so. Whoever kills Cain will suffer a sevenfold vengeance. And the Lord put a mark on Cain, so that no one who came upon him would kill him. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord, and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city and named it Enoch after his son Enoch. To Enoch was born Arad, and Arad was the father Mahaziel, and Mahaziel the father Methushael, and Methushael the father of Lamech. Lamech took 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other was Zillah. Ada bore Jabal. He was the ancestor of those who live in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the ancestor of all those who play the lyre and pipe. Zillah bore Tubal-Cain, and who made all kinds of bronze and iron tools. The sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, Hear my voice, you wives of Lamech. Listen to what I say. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for striking me. If Cain is avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 77-fold. Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son, and named him Seth. For she said, God has appointed for me another child instead of Abel, because Cain killed him. To Seth also a son was born, and he named him Enosh. At that time, people began to invoke the name of the Lord. So that's the end of chapter 4. And, this is the chapter that talks mostly about Cain and Abel, the first children of Adam and Eve. And I think the point of this narrative is that, sin is always tempting us. So the devil is always tempting us to do bad things to each other. And obviously that story of Adam and Eve was about jealousy. That Cain's offering to the Lord wasn't accepted because he didn't give the best of his grain to the Lord. He just gave any old offering. While Abel gave the first of the newborn cattle that he had. And that's what he offered the Lord. So we have to remember that it's important what we offer the Lord. It's very important what we give to the Lord every day of our life. Because if we just give any old thing to the Lord, if we just give just not the first fruit of the offering, but just our leftovers. If we only give our Lord leftovers, then that means we're not putting the Lord first. We are not putting the Lord to the place where we should be putting him. And this is very important to remember. We always have to put the Lord first. We always have to put him in the first place. And Abel did that, Cain didn't. And then when Cain got jealous and killed his brother, he sinned again. So his first sin was not to give the Lord everything that he could have. He didn't give the Lord the best that he could. Then the second sin, of course, was to kill his brother out of jealousy. And we can learn from this story, obviously, because we sometimes, we don't give the Lord our very best. We give him our leftovers. We give him, things that we don't want anymore. So, the time that we give him is like, oh, I have to go to church for 1 hour. Oh, that's so hard for me. I'm not going to do that because it's so difficult. I'd rather pray for 10 minutes or pray for 5 minutes. That's enough. I don't want to give any more than time for that. That's basically the same thing that Cain did. He just gave him the Lord his leftovers. He didn't give him the fruit of what he should have given to him. And we do the same thing. And we get jealous of others too. We get jealous because, we see other people who might have a better relationship with God. Other people who are happy, other people who are, secure in their presence of God. And we get jealous about that because we say, well, why isn't God giving me the same thing? But again, are we like Cain or are we like Abel? If we are like Cain and don't give God any of our time, how do we expect to deepen our relationship with God? How? If we don't give God any time, how are we going to deepen a relationship with him? And that was Cain's issue. He didn't want to deepen his relationship with God. He just gave him any old thing that he wanted, and he didn't care. Cain didn't care. And we often find the same we have the same issue in our life. We don't care to develop a loving relationship with God. We just say, oh, whatever. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter how I behave in life, because it doesn't really matter. God doesn't matter in my life. Well, He should. He should matter in our life. And we need to deepen our relationship with Him every day. And can you imagine how Adam and Eve saw this? Adam and Eve obviously had the first sin, but they repented eventually to God, and they had these two beautiful children, Cain and Abel, these two sons. And anyone who is a parent knows that children are beautiful. They're God's gift to us. And then one of their sons is this gone right away because the brother kills him. Can you imagine what Adam and Eve thought? How they were feeling? They must have been in so much distress. And then one son is dead, and then the other one is banished into the wilderness by God and never to return to them. So God blesses them with another son, Seth, so that they at least have one son that they can enjoy in their old age. So that it's really a very interesting story. And then, just to sum up here, and then, we might say, well, how did Cain marry other, women? Well, the Bible doesn't necessarily say it, but God could have created other people after Adam and Eve. Just like He created Adam and Eve, He could have created thousands more people to populate the earth, right? So a lot of people say, well, how did God create, or how did Cain find a wife to marry? Well, by that time, God could have created a lot more people, right? So there would have been more population in different parts of the world by then. Okay? But anyways, this is chapter 4 of Genesis, and we learn about, again, every time we disrespect God, every time we don't do God's will, usually bad things happen to us. It happened to Adam and Eve by their punishment, by being exiled out of the heavenly, out of the paradise, the Garden of Eden. And it happened to Cain, who killed his brother and was exiled and was not able to live with his parents anymore. So when we do bad things in life, usually, we don't have good consequences from that. When we do bad things, we're going to get bad consequences. So that's the story. That's the message of the story as well. God bless you. Have a good day.